Alright, alright, alright. There's a new StarCraft patch. There's only 8 workers. Everything's weird. Everything's special. What the hell are you going to do to win games? Well, the first things first, that's getting your opening down. The game plays very similarly once you get established in the mid-game, but getting there, the opening is confusing. So first things first, do your first chrono just before 7 seconds. About 6.5, 7 seconds, I think is optimal for that. And this is going to be the PvZ or PvT variant we're going to show, first of all, okay? So we're going to show you guys the PvZ version. PvT and PvZ are exactly the same. The only difference is we want to wall off on the natural if we're playing against ZERG, right? So we're just going to build that pylon down there. Let's scout as well. You always want to scout after your pylon. We're going to do a very safe opening here. Show you guys how to do that. Obviously, we'll lose a little bit more minerals with this. Reason being, we do have to, of course, rally units down to our natural. But this is going to be very similar to what you guys know. It's just different timings, learning how to adapt this to the different worker starts. So we start that gateway on 14. So this was 12 pylon, 14 gate, keep queuing up probes, and chrono. So your first chrono at about 6.5, 7 seconds. Your second chrono the moment you get 50 energy. And then just keep queuing up probes, keep queuing up probes. That was a 14 gate, 15 gas. Our probe scout can come in. If you want to block, you want to do all that fancy stuff, go for it. For now, we're not going to focus. We're just going to put this off over here, not look at our scout, because we want to focus on the build order. Get that down before you start thinking about the other fancy stuff. Let's rally one worker into gas. And we want to go for 19 Nexus, 19 core, guys. So we're going to rally down there with this probe, and then we're going to change the rally point back to the gas here, okay? So 15 on minerals, and we'll get 2 on gas soon. Now, some people were asking me, aren't you worried about an early Reaper? If someone proxies a Reaper, you may want to go Cybercore before Nexus. But we'll talk more about that in the future. If they do a regular 14 barracks, 14 gas, you will not be too worried. The Reaper will have at most about 10, maybe 12 seconds in your base before your Adept is out. Which is perfectly fine. So you want to go for a 20 gas and 20 pylon after that Nexus. Okay, guys? So we've got 3 on gas, 16 on minerals. That is a fully mining mineral line. We can go back. Now, let's not focus on reacting to anything. That's not important, but this is your opening. Against ZERG, this is obviously great. If you are doing a more mineral-focused build, maybe you just want to get 2 gateways up early, go blink, you don't need to go Stargate. You don't need to pull off minerals onto gas the way we've done in this game. Obviously, Chrono and Adept out first. If you want to go for a different unit, you can, depending on the matchup. But at this point, you're going to branch off in different directions depending on what you want to play, okay? That opening is exactly the same no matter what for PvZ or PvT. It's very solid. You have an early scout. You get your Nexus up. You got an Adept building nice and early. That Adept should be out if we started it on time by 2:57. And of course, if we're going Stargate, we cancel Warp Gate or never make it in the first place. We go for the Stargate in the main. I did not cancel that somehow. That Stargate could be up earlier. If you're playing against TERRAN, this can be a Twilight Council. And then a second gateway. Both of these are perfectly fine. And it's super chill from this stage. Once you got 16 on minerals, 3 on each gas, you rally to your natural. And this is a very familiar setup. It's a very familiar situation for anyone. You're on 2 bases. You've got your tech structure on the way. You've got a gateway. From here, play this the same way you would, whatever build order you're choosing in the 12 worker start. And it's going to work very similarly. So get that opening down, and let's just show you guys the exact timings here in our little document. Here it is. Chrono immediately. Let's change that. That's chrono at 6.5 seconds. That way, you have just enough money to afford the second probe as the first probe finishes. Then you want to go 12 pylon, send that probe to scout. Then 14 gate, second chrono immediately. You want to go for that 15 gas, 19 nexus, 19 core. You add 1 more probe, build a second gas, and then a pylon, and then you resume probing from there. That's it. Super basic, super easy. Let's just take a look at how we might adapt, though, if we are getting early pulled or something like that. All right, guys, now we're going to be playing as Bango GM ZERG, and he's going to 10 pull me. So we're going to show you the completely standard opening. We're not going to blind counter it. We're just going to show the little adjustments that allow us to be safe against this, because it is rather tight. Just like defending a 12 pull, if you want to get the maximum hold, the maximum efficiency, you really do want to make sure you do that. So we want to chrono at about 6 seconds. Keep queuing up probes. Try and stack these bad boys up on the close mineral patches if possible. Don't want to stress too hard about it, of course. And because it takes a little while to get to the natural, we'll send a probe down just a few seconds early rather than waiting for that one to pop out. Make the pylon. Go for a little scout. Now, if you want to prioritize blocking their expansion, you could try to prioritize that, but I prefer to just go straight in the base, see what's happening. They go for an early hatchery and get it down, I don't care. I'd much rather be safe and see what's happening. We can still harass the minerals if we really want to get some extra value. So we rally our 13th worker down, guys. We build this 14 gateway. We get the 15 gas. Chrono immediately. And oh my, look at that, guys. Pool is already almost finished, but no gas with it is important, okay? Now, we're going to leave our probe around. If you want, you can block the expansion to be annoying, get bonus points for that. We're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the initial response, which is second pylon, immediately move to the natural, put one worker on gas, and then only queue up to 18 probes, okay? So we're going to cut on 18 probes to make our life easier because we need 250 minerals as soon as that finishes. We should see Zerglings coming out about now. Indeed, there we go. We also see a drone going to expand, but that's okay. Immediate Zealot, immediate Cybercore, and we want to chrono once we get the resources. But he's already on the way across, keep in mind. So this is a situation where you do need to build one more probe after this gateway. So we build an extra gateway, we make one more probe, and we're going to bring 3 more probes down to fight this, okay? So we need 4 probes and 2 Zealots, just like in 12 worker start. And we can put this guy there. And there we go. Make another Zealot and 2 Adepts next, okay, guys? Now we can be a little bit more conservative. We don't need to be out there so much. Let's just hold position these guys. Make another thing. Make another probe and keep fighting. Because we have 2 Zealots. Once you have 2 Zealots, you can afford to fight in the open a lot more. But you always want to pull those 4 probes, guys. Otherwise, that Zealot can get surrounded. Things can get really bad. Now, because we're playing against a no-gas follow-up, we don't need to worry about anything else. We know he's gone for an expansion. You can even confirm it now if you want. And what are we going to focus on? Very simple. 2 Zealot, 2 Adept counterattack. And a Nexus. So let's move across this map for that counterattack. Let's go, go, go. However, what do we need to think about, guys? He could counterattack me with Zerglings right now, right? So, leave a probe in the wall off. And whilst we are counterattacking, we've got to be ready to build one more Adept here. And you can even just full wall your base while you're waiting for that Adept to pop out if you really want to be paranoid. Okay? So we make a second gas. Very important for you to do this 2 Zealot, 2 Adept counterattack. He will not have link speed ready in time. We can cancel that. And we're just probing up here. So you see we've got these guys here. Alright. So notice the Adepts are going in there. So we want to try and take out as many drones as we can. And these Zealots are just going to kill whatever they can as well. Behind this, back to a normal game plan. Stargate goes down. You want to make more Adepts or Zealots, you can. Zealots are going to go down on his side of the map. And you want to just keep making probes and get set up for that next step. So I'm going to make 2 more Adepts so I have some more units that I can go out with. We can chrono probes, make another pylon if you need it. And you should be good for that next step. Now, obviously, you can get your Stargate, your second gases earlier, prioritizing that. But I wanted to show you a really generic kind of doing things one step at a time to make sure we were ready. GG's. Let's rewind the game at this point. Let's check where our economy was compared to our opponents. You can see we're at a similar worker count. He's on 28 drones. I'm on 27. Link speed's almost finished now. So there's that window before link speed kicks in where the Zealots and Adepts can do really well. If we didn't let one of those Adepts get so weak there to the Zerglings out front, we could have done even more damage. But 2 base versus 2 base chronoing probes with Oracles about to hit. Zerg hasn't started a 3rd base. This feels totally fine. We're in a pretty good position and we should be able to play it out from here just super smoothly. All right, guys, we're going to go into one more game here with Bango. Now, the difference here is going to be he's going to add gas afterwards. So we're going to see that with our probe. We need to prioritize second Stargate and second gas. to get that Stargate. So second gas and Stargate as quickly as possible. So first things first, guys. Build probes, split probes. Chrono probes at about 6.5 seconds. If it's 7 seconds, 8 seconds, it's not the end of the world. We've got some massive lag spikes coming in, so you guys get to see me practice this with the proper Australian handicap right now, as the server seems to be absolutely crapping itself. This is going to be fun. Just showing you guys, even if you live in Australia, you can still defend a 10 pool, okay? It's not that hard. Alright, we'll go scout. Now, of course, we want to chrono immediately on the next one. First of all, build the gateway, chrono gas. That's the order. Now, someone was asking with the Zealot Adept counterattack, how much do you want to save the units versus how much are you willing to just sacrifice them to try and get some damage? As always, it all depends on the situation you're in. It depends, as they say in Age of Empires. So if your opponent's built a lot of Zerglings, has a really fast link speed, you don't really need to do any damage. Your opponent's not been building that many drones to begin with. Look at that, we can see a gas. So we're immediately going to go hide our probe up here, okay? So just going to go click up there, somewhere off to the side. And what are we going to do? Well, build that pylon and move down to the natural, okay? So we put one worker on gas. We stop at 18, so this is going to be the last worker there. Really mineral-focused build. Remember, we want to make a Zealot immediately. The second this gateway, so exactly the same response for now. Zealot, Cybercore, let's go. Still got 15 energy until we can chrono. Let's get 3 more probes hotkeyed. We'll squeeze 1 more probe in, so we'll go up to 19 probes. Build the second gateway. Bring the probes down. So you see these guys are all going to be on that hotkey. Queue up another Zealot, chrono it. We can put these guys all on the same hotkey. And we can try to just make sure this is hard for our opponent to tear down the gateway. Once we've got 2 Zealots out, obviously we are willing to fight, guys. But remember, what have we not paid attention to? We're busy microing. This guy has gas. He could be going all in afterwards. We'll send our probe in to scout here while these guys fight. We've got the 2 Adepts still, so we still go for that. Got another pylon coming in. We need to get these 2 gases up as quickly as possible so that we can chill. We're going to build a battery for a little bit of extra safety. Notice with my wall off, there's a little detail to my wall off you guys might have noticed. That is, there's a big space here which we can wall off really easily. Now these guys are going to go back to mining. 150 gas will go for a Stargate. Our probe is confirmed. Our opponent hasn't expanded. It's not a fake out, which means we want to build another gateway there. Now, because this gateway on the left is so damaged, we're going to want to wall off with another one. We can build a Stargate in the main. You could put that on the natural, but we don't want our Stargate to die because it's what shuts down any all-in. So we are just cementing our wall off. Our opponent is 100% all-in in this sort of game. We put a gateway there, Cybercore there. Even if these finish, it's totally fine. Now, this gives us the comfort to keep probing, okay? Obviously, some people panic. They go, oh, maybe he's not all-inning. Let's cancel this. Terrible idea. Never do that. You can see, look, he's even coming in now, so let's build some more batteries if we can. And let's just chill out, okay? So notice he's coming in. Zealot's going to get taken out. Or is he? Shield battery's pretty good, hey? And once you make an Oracle, this is all over. The real thing that holds Zerg all-ins are wall-offs. If you see a gas early, you have to play safe. If you can't get the probe to confirm, they might just make link speed here. And you may have ended up overreacting a little bit. But it's always better to be safe than sorry. If they go for an early pull and a gas, it is so expensive. But this is why we try to keep our probe alive and hide it somewhere on the map to come in and confirm they haven't expanded. Because if they have expanded, obviously we can prioritize our own expansion. Otherwise, it's about wall-offs, it's about oracles, it's about safety, and only then do you think about getting the Nexus up and going back to probing after you've made sure you just cannot die. And there we go. That's that, guys. Wall-offs, prioritize the Stargate. If you can micro the 4 probes and the 2 Zealots while also trying to get the second gas up, put on the first gas. That's even better because that's going to close down the Stargate timing. So you can see at this point already, guys, I could have grabbed 2 workers and put them on this gas, maybe squeezed 1 or 2 more probes in off my control group while I was doing this, because it's going to be a little while until I need to start the Adept, right? Got the second Zealot building, the chrono's happening on it, but because we're busy microing, it's pretty tough. But if you guys have the APM for it to put 2 guys on gas here straight away, maybe squeeze the second gas in, that's going to be amazing for getting that second Stargate up as fast as possible. And if you're worried about not being able to scout while all this is happening, what you can do is just before they always arrive at about 220 with a 10 pool, or 210 I should say, just let's say 208. At 2 minutes, you could grab this probe and you could just click it in here behind the natural to see if they've expanded. And then you can just glance at your minimap at some point when you've got a bit of mental kind of space free and you can go, ah, he's expanding. Okay, I can focus on my own Nexus and stuff. You still want to get your Oracle out as quickly as possible because your Oracle can be offensive as well. It doesn't have to just be defensive. But you can see the 4 probes, the 2 Zealots will keep you pretty safe here. And that's going to take care of everything. It is very hectic in this early micro if they're really good like my opponent is at dancing in and out. If they just fight into your choke point, it's a little bit more chill. Now, a couple things you want to note with the building placement. Try to get your pylon not too close to the wall off so you can fit a big building to wall off. If I put a pylon or a shield battery here, it could have been blown up by banelings. It would have been a soft spot in the wall. But because this pylon's further back, I can squeeze a big 3x3 structure, a cybercore with 1100 hit points, or a gateway with 1000. And I did the same thing behind there as well, because we always want to wall off with big buildings rather than small buildings. Only 200 hit points and shields on a pylon can get blown up by just 5 banelings. I guess Gate Nexus dies if no scout, says a Ceylon. You're going to have to micro very well. If you build the gateway in the main, probably can be fine. You'll just have to lose the Nexus, I think. Unless you pull like a billion probes. Alright guys, so what if a Terran player gets aggressive on you? Well, it's pretty similar. But let's take a look and figure it out here in-game. I'm going to start by trying to split our workers up a bit. They've had a little bit of an identity crisis in terms of which mineral patches they wanted to go to. Finally, they figure it out. They do stabilize and start mining eventually. Now, of course, against Terran, the difference with the opening is that you're not going to be walling off on the natural. So a bit less walk time means a little bit more efficiency with your build order. So here we are, we're going to be on 12 supply. And as we get close to 100, we can just pull a probe over, build a pylon, and we can go for a scout. Go for a nice scout. Now, of course, it's the same build order. We want to go 14 gate, 15 gas, and then go 19 Nexus, 19 core. However, similar to a 10 pool, what is the equivalent of a 10 pool for a Terran? And arguably for a Protoss as well. It's what if their buildings are not in their base? Essentially, what are the most aggressive things? It's if they don't even build their barracks or gateways in their base, they proxy them at your base. That's where you need to have an extreme reaction, similar to what we had in that last game. Speak of the devil, no buildings in their base. Now you've got to check that they're not going CC first. How do I know? His command center is not building. You can see no sparks coming out of it, no lights flashing. Therefore, he's proxying. So let's just leave our probe there, just chill. And remember, what was the response? Well, we need to build a second pylon. And against Terran specifically, it's a good idea if you do actually scout for the proxy. But we're going to start just focusing on the basics to start, okay? So we go up to 18. We build a Zealot, a Cybercore. And then we can go and look around our base, try to find what we're up against, while building a second gateway. We've got 2 on gas. We don't need 2 on gas. Well, actually, against Terran, you do want 2 on gas because you want to build Stalkers a lot of the time. So we're building 2. Now, we're going to make a Zealot or 2, and then we're going to make Stalkers, okay? Why Stalkers? Because against Marauders, Reapers, Hellions, Stalkers are a bit more versatile, and they can outrange all these units, okay? So there we go, we're building that Zealot, guys. You can see we've got a bunch of energy. Let's chrono the Zealot out and then start Stalkers after that. Notice I've built a few more probes here because it's very important to have gas mining to queue up Stalkers. If you want, you can make Warp Gate as well, just to add a little bit of extra safety. We want to build 1 more pylon close to our ramp. And make sure we're queuing up Stalkers. Now, we've seen what's happening. Oh, we're getting Marauder proxied. Okay, cool. That's fine. A generic response handles Marauders the same it does anything else. And that is make Stalkers, make shield batteries. You actually want to stand your Zealots on the ramp. The reason being, when he walks up to get vision, you'll immediately get some hits on him before he has time to react. We want to get 16 on minerals, 3 on 1 gas, before thinking about too much else. So there you go. You can see, just kill the SCVs if they come up. And you can stay up on the high ground. It's going to make your life much easier. If you try to take an expansion, it's very scary. Marauders beat Stalkers. They can out-micro Zealots. But we use this ramp to keep us safe. Keep building the Zealot count, the Stalker count. If you don't have enough gas, just squeeze an extra Zealot in. Zealots are really hard for him to kill with Marauders. And you can see, we just A-move here. We don't need to do fancy micro. Bonus points if you do, I guess. And that's going to be really easy to hold. Now that Stalker should go after that red hit point Marauder. And you can see, in this case, it's not too hard. This is the advantage of probe scouting. If you probe scout, you should always shut down a double proxy Marauder very easily. And then we can go second gas, Stargate, Nexus, whatever the hell it is you feel like as your follow-up. But you can see it is basically just one big Marauder attack. As long as you get shield batteries, grow your unit count, you're going to be good. If they don't trade their units away, it's going to be a bit scarier, in which case you do want to prioritize that second Stargate. Stay on the high ground. You don't want to go get your units picked off on the low ground. If there's 6 Marauders down there, you don't want to go away from the batteries. You don't want to go away from the ramp. So what are we going to do? Build a Stargate. Keep probing up your main base. Keep building pylons. But a Stargate can be really good in these games, because if you chrono an Oracle across the map, they're not going to have anything that shoots up for quite some time. And it also is going to allow you to just gun down any Marauders that are still on this side. You can peek around with your Stalkers, but you got to be careful because they could get slowed. If they do go home, or they do throw too many Marauders away, or you just feel really confident with your unit count based on what you see, you can push down, take a Nexus there, and go for that. Point is, though, essentially your cheese response is always the same, guys. Immediately build a pylon, immediately go for a Chrono and 2 Zealots, get a Cybercore, so it's a Zealot and a Cybercore, a second Gateway, make 2 Zealots, and then make Stalkers against TERRAN, Adepts against ZERG, and obviously a little bit of scouting and follow-up to figure out the rest. But that initial hold is where 90% of the players who complain to me about not being able to defend cheese are messing up. They're just not getting that initial defense down. All right, guys, let's talk through the PvP opening. Now, there's 2 main branches we're going to cover today, guys, because it does feel like, at least right now in this version, defending is quite strong, and there's a cool little build that you can do to take advantage of that. I was a few seconds late on that chrono, guys. Meant to be like 6 seconds, 6.5. I did it a little bit later there, but that's okay. So there is a 1 gas build that we'll talk about later, but first of all, let's just kind of do the familiar. I think we'll start with the familiar. We'll show you guys just a 2-gate expand, and I think this is perfectly fine. Some people are saying they think 1 gate. If you want to expand off this and you're not going to play like early Stargate or Proxy Robo, you probably should do the other build. But if you're going to play, you know, oh, I want to get an early Oracle out, I want to be more dynamic, more aggressive, I think this is going to be the more, I would say, generic and one-size-fits-all build order for you. Okay? So notice we're not going to scout after Pylon or Gate. We're just chilling for now. And we're going to go for immediate chrono, as per usual. Get the gas going. So it's 12 Pylon, 14 Gate, 15 gas. Completely standard, guys. These are the numbers you want to be getting used to. And you can take a second gas straight away as well. Second gas on 16. And then we want to go for either 17 or 18, second gate, and go scout. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to put 1 guy on gas to start. 18, we're going to go second gate, and then we can go scout and we can see what's up, okay? Now, next up, we do need to build a Cybercore. We don't need to saturate our gases just yet. Make sure, get the Cybercore, and then after the Cybercore starts, because there's a bit of a mineral crunch there, you want to put at least 2 workers on each gas. Now, if you want to go Stargate immediately later, you can do more. Build a pylon on 20. So you resume probes, build a pylon on 20. But yeah, if you want immediate Stargate, if you want to go Sentry, Stalker, and Warp Gate immediately, put an extra guy on each gas. We're just going to do 2 on each gas until we get back to 15 on minerals. And then we can add a little bit more. Now, this is a very easy AI we're showing this against, so we don't really care what we're looking at. Let's do a really standard follow-up, guys. Let's go Stalker, Sentry. So 1 Stalker, 1 Sentry. And I'm going to delay Warp Gate slightly. Now this one, it's up to you if you want to do it this way. Warp Gate is huge defensively, just because it gives such a big boost to your unit production. So you don't want to delay this too long. Don't make too much of a habit of this. And of course, after starting your 2 gateway units, you want to get that pylon on the natural, which I think for a lot of you will be very familiar, right? So we can go go for hallucination, and we can start 2 more stalkers here. The earlier you start that pylon, the better. You can see we started it a little bit late. So you want to be heading that probe down a bit earlier so these guys aren't delayed, okay? Now from here, obviously, Sentry Stalker is going to be more of an expand build. We're going to show you a very generic version of this. I think opening Stargate or something like that's probably a little bit better with this opening. Otherwise, we can do the one gate expand. And there is a very good 1 gate expand that gives us a lot of safety. But otherwise, super generic. Add a Nexus, add a shield battery, add another probe or 2 in here if you want to. We've got 3 stalkers in a sentry now. We can see, oh, let's imagine he has not expanded. What are we going to do? Non-stop stalkers, okay? Especially once Warp Gate's done, non-stop stalkers. And these are going to build so quick when that upgrade finishes, so don't chrono them. Chrono the Warp Gate research, okay? Build another pylon, because we are supply blocked. Build another shield battery. And you normally only need 2 shield batteries. From here, a lot of people, when they're getting all in, their instincts are going to tell them, build a robo, make a Stargate. But actually, the thing that's really going to keep you safe is just making more stalkers. And I think this is the craziest change that it takes a little bit of time to get used to, which is just keeping making stalkers costs so much money. Look at this, 16 seconds per stalker, guys. So if I just keep an extra stalker queued up here, even without probing or building extra tech, all my money just goes into stalkers and pylons. Now, because the Nexus comes up, we do have a bunch of supply free. And you might think, oh, let's drop a Twilight. Now, you can squeeze these in, but if you're getting all in, just keep queuing up stalkers. And this has taken me a while to get used to, just the sheer amount of units I've got coming out of these gateways. And you can queue the next one up a little bit early as well. So queue it up early. And then if you want, squeeze in a Twilight or squeeze in a few probes. But first things first, when you're under pressure, keep queuing stalkers. And even with just 2 gates, look at this absolutely ridiculous production chain that comes out. Today's the 25th of June here in Australia. Things might change, but in this current version, the speed that you can build units out of these gateways is insane. Look at this, I don't have any spare money, guys. All I'm doing is building stalkers, and now I need another pylon to not get blocked. So do not underestimate just how much production there is. My old Warp Gate instincts often tell me build a 3rd gate, build a 4th gate. But realistically, just keep queuing units. And look at how many frigging units we've got off 2 gateways. It's not even 6 minutes off an 8 worker start. And we've got an absolute frigging horde to the point where we've not even had room to build any tech. So keep in mind, the earlier you get Warp Gate, the safer you are. If you guys want to play very defensive, just building gateway units, probably prioritize Cybercore Warp Gate as quickly as possible. And anytime you realize your opponent's all in you, do not stop building units. Obviously, it's way weaker offensively because they have to run to the front. But when your gateways are this close to where the fights are happening, it's actually crazy just how fast they produce.